So this is kind of the old famous whoops, I did it again. So this would be a 60s square chute snowblower, yellow, and why does it have this sheet metal apparatus on it? Ah! So this is actually off of what we refer to in the Gravely world as a postal L, which the name ensues they were post office tractors. So they had the extra shrouding on it, so there's no possible way you could get into them. The reels or the augers of the snowblower. And this one actually came from our local salvage yard. It's been in the back there for a while. I finally stopped in and asked them about it a couple weeks ago. It was actually frozen in the snow, and that's why this side's a little mangled up over here. They've been trying to get it out for about 3 weeks. Finally, just were able to get it out yesterday. So, but it's all metal. You can straighten that good enough. I have no real plans to actually blow snow with it heavily, anyhow. So see, this side's still pretty good. Bolted on there. And a lot of the bolts are rusted out of it and stuff. I mean, for the $50 I gave, it's fairly decent. Typical L snowblower is worth 75 bucks, so I'm not in the hole. We're going to get some blaster out and shooting the bearings because the clutch is free itself, but I bet you this rear bearing, I got one picture while it was sitting in the salvage yard. It was stood up, so I'm sure water run through the fan bearings. So we'll free that up a little bit, see if we can get it to turn. It's very wet and muddy right now, so I really don't want to walk my loaders around, and tomorrow I think it's going to be cold enough the ground will be froze again, so maybe I'll just bring the 3910 out and yard it back or something. So something different, something neat. I have no idea on the production numbers of these, but all postal stuff had warning labels on everything. I know there's one there. And pretty much had the same thing here, and I believe there would have been one up on what I'll call the hood. So, kind of neat stuff. So, anyhow, guys, rambled on for a little bit longer than I wanted to. I guess I did say this doesn't turn freely. We did take a big bar and move it, so we'll put some blaster in it and see if we can get her to free up a bit. So, anyhow, guys, I do some more with this, I'll come back. If not, thanks for watching. Catch you everybody in the next one. Later. Short filler episode for somewhere. Nice. So, figure you guys may like this. I just got my big, actually crescent pliers out here. So, it will turn over. But, as you guys can see, what's spinning. Everything down in there is turning. So, like I said, this rear bearing's froze up. So probably if I take the attachment clutch off here and go get a bearing out of another snowblower and put it in there, if I can get the bearing out, that's a whole other story. And it'll probably work. Maybe I'll try and do that. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I did hit it with some blaster, being hopeful. So we'll do the same back here. Will it help? Probably not, but does it make me feel better? Yes. Alright, boys, through some hard work and dedication, I have the blower loosened up. There's still a tight spot in it. I can't tell if it's in that bearing or if it's in the fan in the blower housing. Either of which is possible. For all I know, there's leaves and dirt in it. Can't tell. Ah! They're making you guys sick. But the spin pretty free. I did pull that bearing out and I cleaned it up. And, so you can see I ended up pulling the housing up a little bit so then I could pry it up out, because obviously it was rusted. So with that being said, I think I am going to set the blower on its side. And I don't know if I showed this or not, but I did end up rebolting the side back down, which straightened it out a lot. And there's still a little bit of a bend right at the end, so that needs pulled out. And then it's still pushed in some because of that wrinkle that's going on up top there. So I'm gonna have to get kind of creative and make this work. I'm kind of thinking I have the scissor jack there by the toolbox, and 4x4 and a hammer, and maybe a little bit of map gas torch action, and we'll go from there. Alright, alright. Alright, boys. While it's by no means perfect, it's a lot better. It's still, I think you guys can see it curves right about there a little bit, but considering it was out, I don't know, 4 inches or something before, now if it's out a ½ inch, meh, it's not too bad. Not too bad. So, next trick is, do I actually put this on the postal tractor? I mean, it would be kind of fitting, but I got stuff in here blocking my way. And this too, you guys haven't seen a video on that yet. That's pretty much done. I need to order spark plug wire. And that can go out, but when this leaves, I'm getting a wheel horse tractor back. It's always something. So, anyhow. Pretty much it for the postal blower, I think. I got most of the bolts back in it. I kind of want to take this to the mall show on a postal tractor, because this would be something neat and cool too. So, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Anyhow, guys, thanks for watching. Catch you over the next one. Later. I usually don't leave with stuff on its side, but what are you going to do right now? Alright, boys. I know the lighting's not the best, but I got the postal snowblower outside the shop today. It was actually 50 degrees. And it looks a whole lot better than the pile of junk I pulled out of the salvage yard less than a week ago, so for the moment, that's going to be it on the postal project. I was debating about marrying this to the postal tractor, but in all honesty, I don't want it taking up that much real estate in the shop. So, and the postal tractor runs good. I like mowing with that tractor. So, anyhow, guys, it's going to be it on the postal blower. Pretty much going to go into the old hoard there, and one day I'll get all the different blowers out and I'll show you guys everything. So, anyhow, guys, thanks for watching. Catch you over the next one. Later. I have no idea what that'll be. No idea. I'm sure we'll be back working on Alice again. Watching the sunset. So, later, guys. Maybe it'll be a parade auction? Possible. Later, guys. Alright, boys and girls. What I'm about to show you guys here is, to my knowledge, except for the wider variations of the Deluxe, this is all the early snowblowers in all their different versions. So, what we're going to start off with here, and I know it's not the whole way to the left, but that's just the way I put it out, because these are both the same, really, is a regular old dog eater or a square chute snow thrower. And they were the earliest Gravely snowblower. They were very simple. They threw snow. They tend to jam up in wet snow, but that's kind of a Gravely snowblower thing across the board, and most blowers do it. So this is earlier square chute snowblower. I don't know per se if this one is earlier, looking at the impeller. But what we have to our left here is a variation, which is a postal snowblower, or a snowblower made for the United States Postal Service tractors. And I think, as you guys can tell, they were painted yellow. I know the lighting is a little weird, but they were painted yellow. They had all kinds of safety stickers on them and everything, because they didn't want the postal workers to get into them, and that's why they had this big shield on the front. They covered the augers, and the augers are, I don't know, 6 inches back in from the front even, so get your foot down in there. I mean, you really have to try to get your foot into them augers. So that was something. I'm not 100% sure when the postal tractors come out, but I would like to wager it was mid-50s into the mid-60s is when the postal contracts were going on. I have a 62 Li that was a postal tractor, so I can date it to that, and this blower will go with the tractor, no problems. The square chute snowblower, I don't know how early those totally came out. I would like to put a number on the 40s, but I have been wrong before on that, and if I am wrong, maybe I'll insert some numbers here somewhere. Then what we have, and I think this came before the Deluxe, and I believe they called this an MA115, if I'm not mistaken. And basically you can see the different chute design. And basically just the difference between that and this is the chute and the gearbox. I'll explain that in a second. So this is basically a square chute snowblower, but the drum is welded solid, which actually, if you guys can tell, that shortened the snowblower up by 3 or 4 inches, thus making it not as far out or as heavy. So that helped a lot. And I want to say this blower here and this blower come out in a very similar time frame. They had a wider version of these that went on the Westchester that were 34 inches wide or 36, right in that, because Westchester was meant to have duals on it. So I want to say this come out in the early 60s, and this may have even been mid 60s, like 64, 66-ish. And this is what everybody calls a deluxe dog eater. And with the Deluxe, they slowed down the auger speed, which helped with the jamming in wet snow. And I think you guys can see, you definitely can, here, and compared to this square chute here, how much closer the fan is to the augers in the front, or the reels, to help reduce that. And while these were a much more accurate snowblower, where obviously the square chute, you can blow it left, you blow it right, whatever. So that's the main differences, and I wish I had a little bit more details on the years, but as of right now I do not. By the time I post this video, maybe I will, and maybe I'll even redo this. So, alright guys, that's the early snowblower introduction. I wish I had one of the wider ones, like for on my Westchester, but I do not. I've seen a couple of them come up for sale, but I never bought them. Never had the money at the right time or right place. So, anyhow guys, thanks for watching. Catch everybody later. Not quite time for the sun to set yet. Daylight savings time, hour off.